We are going to assess the internal rift in the DAP Kenya. Those of my age will remember there used to be a story of two snakes. Uh, each snake was eating the tail of the other one. I think, if I'm not wrong, that dream was talking about it was talking of somebody who was dreaming that two snakes were each eating the other's tail. So in every given minute, the circle would become very little. You see, as this snake is eating the other snake is eating into this. So the circle is becoming very little. And the author of that story of the two snakes says that just before he saw what would happen at the last time, when the two snakes would have reached at each other's head, some noise woke him up and he found that it was a dream. So it is quite possible that the DAPK are that imaginary two snakes which were eating into each other. Today we will have to look at it from the outside, trying to assess what is happening. Before saying anything, the little chance of reconciliation was killed by Eugene Wamalwa himself. From that meeting, that press conference after meeting, it was obvious that the panel of Wazes had tried to reconcile them. And even the thing that they were talking of, oh, let us forward it to the neck or whatever. And they had even given themselves days, I think it is 60 or something, to solve whatever was being there. That was to buy time. And the press conference was called to deflect the problems within and show a united front. But I can say that they ended up more divided than when they met. The reason being that when Eugene Wamalwa was given a time to address the press conference, he spoiled everything. If there's going to be a division in the DAPK, today's press conference, the utterances by Eugene Wamalwa definitely will have contributed a lot. He wrongly deflected the problems by blaming Ruto. For the division, where he was saying that Ruto is trying to divide DAPK the way he did it in Jubilee. Well, that part of saying where Ruto played a part in Jubilee division is nearer the truth, and maybe it is true. Maybe it is true that Ruto caused a division within Jubilee. But trying to say that Ruto is trying to divide DAPK the way he did it to Jubilee, I think somebody should have consulted him and advised him that he should not have even put the name of Ruto in the divisions among DAP. Of course, the person enjoying most of the implosion of the DAPK is Ruto himself. But if you ask me, I would say that this is a situation where both sides, Eugene Wamalwa is there's no love lost between Eugene Wamalwa and Ruto, and the same applies between Ruto and Natembeya. But if the what do you call, the anger, the ire, the hatred between Ruto and Eugene on one hand, and Ruto and Natembeya. I think the one between Ruto and Natembeya can be very more painful than between Ruto and Eugene. First of all, Eugene is what do we call a tiger pepper, a tiger pepper. But Natembeya, I think people claim that I speak for Ruto. I think if Ruto was to choose the better person to confront, he would prefer Eugene, because Eugene is more of a diplomatic and is not a rouser-bowser. And Eugene has a history of avoiding confrontation. So, trying to say that, first of all, as I'm repeating, I'm saying that none of them is pro-Ruto, because when we talk about the implosion of Jubilee Party, we can rightly say that we would not be very wrong if we say Ruto played a part of it, or even if we are not right there, then we could even say that Ruto prayed for one side to win. Even if Ruto did not play a part in the Jubilee division, we would say that Ruto must have wished and I must have hoped one side to win over the other. But in this side, Ruto would have wanted them to dismantle each other, so that in the future we can always be talking about DAP in history. The person to benefit most in the demolition of DAP is Ruto. And he gains most when all he has to do is watch the Mexican opera and get his remote control. To him, he'd prefer to get the remote control and pump up the volume. In fact, it would not be advisable for Ruto to play any part on it, because if he tries to play any part of it, he may be interpreted to side with one side, and most of those people who are anti-Ruto or people who are very militant would side with the side that he would have. This is just a case where you leave your enemies to finish themselves off. I think that is how Ruto would have done it, and I think that is what he's doing. Of the two, as I said, Natembeya is more lethal. Natembeya is more lethal as far as Ruto is concerned, and so it was it was very unfair and unwise for somebody to even insinuate that Natembeya is in the pay of Ruto. The 6 hours closed door meeting apparently got a decimal point, and that decimal point was wiped out by Eugene Wamalwa himself, as we have just said. So, from the start, I had aired in the social media that Eugene, in his capacity as General Kigua, is the cause of all this, because before I even elaborate, I would say that before the last general election, Trans Nzoia was his for the taking, but he's somebody, as I'll talk later, you'll find that he's somebody who plays is a general who does not lead his soldiers, but is a general who follows his soldier. He wants his soldier to fight the war for him. Otherwise, the Trans Nzoia was for his, and if he had guts, Natembeya would not be the governor. Imagine if Eugene Wamalwa would have been the governor of Trans Nzoia now. What would be Natembeya? Natembeya would be a former regional commissioner, isn't it? Just that. But when it came to election for the last 2022, he was scared of going for the Trans Nzoia, but we'll talk about that. So that is where I was saying that he is General Kigua. second General Kigua. The first one was from Odhaya. Eugene, if you remember very well, formed TNA. They formed TNA with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. In fact, if TNA would have formed the government, he would have been Uhuru Kenyatta's and Kenya's founding deputy president. But when rumors started going around that Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, and others were going to join Uhuru, he got scared and moved away. He got scared and moved away. Yes, there's no way TNA would have formed a government on its own. And of course, a coalition was to come. And when the coalition was to come, of course, he would have lost the deputy head of state, but he would have had a very powerful position somewhere there. But there is no war that Eugene Eugene has ever confronted at any slight sign of it's like in a camp, in a military camp. You hear the first shot in the air and you run away in the other direction. You leave the others to fight the war for you. That is what happened in the 2013 election. Come 2017 election, there was a group of people who really wanted to get rid of Kidero. And on the government side, Uhuru and Ruto had settled for Eugene to go for the governorship in the capital. But then rumors started going around that PK, Peter Kenneth, was being sponsored by Uhuru for the 2017 capital governorship. When he heard that, he did not even give it a second chance. He ran away. When he was asked to go and run for governorship in Trans Nzoia, he said no. He was a national, but it is because he fears the thing. During the 2017, when rumors started spreading about PK being sponsored by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to be the governor of Nairobi, I was on the social media saying that there was no way Peter Kenneth could be sponsored by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, because in 2013, PK had eaten into Uhuru's Mrima elections. But then this fellow ran away. The other person who also stood up. In fact, the game plan then was that between Peter Kenneth and Dennis Waweru, not Peter Kenneth, between Eugene Wamalwa and Peter and I'm confusing myself. Between Dennis Waweru and Eugene Wamalwa, one was to run for the governorship and the other one was to run for the deputy governorship. But both of them, when the rumor started spreading that in 2017, Peter Kenneth was to be sponsored by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, they ran away. Only for Eugene Wamalwa to be around after the 2017 election, he joined the cabinet. So he is somebody who, when he sees any sign of war, he runs away. That was 2017. The next election was 2022. As 2022 elections were approaching, again, Trans Nzoia was for the taking. He chickened off, and even Nairobi was his. He still chickened off. What he wanted in 2022 was for him to run a political party with so many elected leaders. He wanted to have a political party that would have many elected leaders, and that would have guaranteed him of several cabinet positions. Imagine being a party leader of a party that has very many MPs. The president would want to give you two to three cabinet positions, so that whenever the president wants to pass anything in parliament, you can rein in your. So he had a political party which he was dangling around for people to be elected on that, so that he uses that. And okay, he's my second cousin, but that is the truth. On the other hand, when Natembeya started his Tawi movement, Tawi movement, there are so many people who are saying that Natembeya's Tawi movement will eat into leaders who have votes in Luhyaland. That is, Raila has a lot of MPs from ODM in Luhyaland. Mudavadi had an influence. You talk of the speaker Wetangula. Wetangula has influence. Talk of even Kenya Kwanza has a lot. So people are trying to say that, but I remember talking on social media, telling people that Tawi movement is what in Swahili they say msameno. Msameno, the saw eats both sides. When it is going, it will eat those people you are talking, and when it comes back, it will also eat it to DAPK. I said that as much as those people you are mentioning will feel the heat of Tawi movement, but even the political party that Natembeya belongs to will also feel the heat. And sure, oh boy, I have been proven to be right. All his pronunciations from day one, that is Natembeya's pronunciation from the day he started Tawi movement. By the way, Tawi in Luhya means no, hapana, asha. In Agikuyu mugaga asha tigo. So Tawi is hapana movement. His pronunciations from day one showed a person who was positioning himself to be the regional leader. He was positioning himself to be the regional leader. Savula, when given a chance to said that they were looking forward to getting the Malava seat. I think he was trying to deflect the attention when he said that Malulu beat Panyako by a very few, a small, a small margin. He said the Panyako only needed to maintain his base and then add a few more votes. This one I'll talk first of all from Savula's angle. This was meant to call for a ceasefire and concentrate on external threats, that is Malava by-election. He was trying to make it that if they fight among themselves, they may lose. They may lose the Malava seat. It is also even in homes when homes, families, clans, tribes, and even races. When you have your own internal fights and an external fighter comes in, you first of all postpone your internal fights and concentrate on the external fighter. So he was trying to tell them that at this time, if we fight, we may lose Malava. And you see, according to his reasoning, they stand a very good chance of winning Malava because the person who beat their candidate, beat him by a very small margin. So he was trying to say, let us maintain that, and if we concentrate on fighting among ourselves, it will not be good for us. But if you study a history of two heavyweights, when one goes, the other one cannot face the new threats. Let us start from Nakuru. Nakuru, we used to have a very powerful person called John Jenga Mungai. He's still alive. Still alive. I think he even runs a YouTube channel. But he was the MP for Molo. Now, if you even go to Molo, people would be shocked that he used to be a firebrand politician. Why? You know, he used to fight people like Wilson Leitich. So when Wilson Leitich went and the new blood came, so trying to assume that that Panyako, having been number 2 the last time, him getting it may be true, it also may not be true, because if he maintains the people, but it is also possible that Malava people, and I've seen in many places, it reaches a place where the constituencies may refuse. You know, Panyako is somebody, and when they were confronting themselves with the late Malulu, these are politicians who are associated with political violence, and you can see anybody who comes from Malava will tell you that um, I don't know whether it is by design or by 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 chance. Uh, Whenever Malulu and Panyako used to meet, it used to be very violent, and youths would gang up from this one's facing from this. Now that Malulu Njendi is dead, the youths that were violently from Malulu are now going to Panyako's direction. Now, people may try to associate that he's ready for war, and maybe Malava people may have decided that they don't want to do anything with the violent leaders. I just say it reaches a time when people don't want violent leaders. You know, Malulu is even on YouTube, is it Google, whereby he used to send youths to harass head teachers who did not toe in line. So maybe Kabrasi people one day, we don't know whether it is today or even in future, but one day they may even decide that any politician who thinks that by being elected would only be elected through violence, they'll have to do away with him. Uh, there is also the element of immediately Malulu died, Panyako has really, how many political parties has he gone through? He has changed so many political parties that we don't know, but right now he has settled for DAP Kenya. So this case of people may even turn against him. They may turn against him because of changing political parties, just like somebody turns the pages of a newspaper, or they may also reject him because he has a history of violence, he has a history of temper, and again, if you look at the way you go around Malava, this new type of politicians, people like David Dakwa, people like Eddie Kabusieka, they are talking of projects, they are talking of school feeding programs, they are talking of building roads, they are talking whatever. So I don't know whether Kabras people will reach our stage and then turn to and start voting for issue-oriented people other than violent-oriented people. I want to go back to a person like John Jenga Mungai, the former MP for Molo. You see, when he used to fight people like Wilson Leitich, they had their own languages. But the new type of leaders in Nakuru now talk a different type of language. I think that one will also be something that Panyako may not get used to, and people may people may start thinking otherwise, and they may reject him because not because of the party that, but because of the party that he has gone for, but because of changed environment. Now we all in that you may find that the political party DAP will lose that because of various reasons, either singularly or all of them. Uh, we don't know whether this is a case of an egg or a hen, but Panyako may make the party. Uh, I don't, you know the case of a hen and an egg. Which one came first? Is it the egg or the hen? Panyako may make the party lose, or the party may make Panyako lose. That is the case of a hen and eggs. But I would want to say that anybody expecting Natembeya to be still in DAP is dreaming. It has reached a time whereby unless people go and visit Natembeya and tell him, please tafadhali no yansa ho, here is the DAP party. But anything, even trying to say they are going to have an election or whatever, Natembeya anatembea outside the DAP party. Expect him to start a political party, preferably called Tawi. And that is the truth.